'68 was like an earthquake.
The country was not on the cusp of revolution.
There appeared to be as many policemen as demonstrators.
But it was certainly on the cusp of some enormous millennial change.
We hear you loud and clear, boy.
It still does resonate even when people don't realize that it's resonating.
Today we continue our series, This Weekend in 1968. 40 years ago, the end of Resurrection City. Resurrection City was a shanty town on the Mall in Washington, lasting from about early May through June. It was Martin Luther King's last campaign before his assassination, and organizers even continued with it after his death. Now, the goal was to bring together poor people of all backgrounds and put the faces of the poor right in front of the government. And on this weekend, 40 years ago, Resurrection City was torn down by the government. Dr. Maurice Isserman, a history professor at Hamilton College, was a high school student at the time, and he remembers being part of that last stand.
In the spring of '68, as I was getting ready to graduate, I heard about this Poor People's Campaign that Dr. King was going to lead, and they were going to create this interracial city of the poor in the center of Washington. And on June 19th, they were holding an event called Solidarity Day, and that was the moment for the outside supporters who weren't necessarily poor themselves to come and demonstrate their concern for the war on poverty. And I talked to my parents, and I said, I really want to go down for that. And my parents, after some discussion, said, okay, well, you can go down. So on the day of my high school graduation, I marched to pomp and circumstance and got my diploma. And an hour or so later, I was on a train from Connecticut down to Washington, D.C., traveled all night to get down there to Union Station.
Today, Solidarity Day,
it was a big event of about 50,000 people.
Is not the end of the Poor People's Campaign.
But after 5 days, I learned that Resurrection City was coming to an end.
Even though they may jail me, but I'm going to stand up in the jail houses of Washington, D.C. and say, let my people go.
What followed was one of these classic 60s moments when I called my parents up. I've been talking to them every day or so and saying what I've been up to. And I said, by the way, I want to go get arrested tomorrow with the people from Resurrection City. And they said, no, you're not. You're coming right home. And I said, well, sorry, Mom, but I made up my mind. I felt guilty because I was, basically a good kid, but I also felt it was something I had to do.
And I intend to stay here until justice rolls.